Have you ever noticed how a sudden silence can land harder than a scream? People think yelling forces the issue. Noise, emotion, release, but silence does something else. It reaches deeper. It tightens the chest. It leaves questions. And in that quiet, reactions you couldn't get by shouting start to unfold. First, let's clear one thing up. Not all silence is the same. There's a calm pause where someone steps back to cool down, breathe, and think. Then there's the silent treatment, a deliberate, prolonged withholding of communication meant to punish, control, or gain leverage. The difference is intent and the willingness to come back to the table. A mindful pause gives room to repair. The silent treatment locks the door and waits to see who bangs the loudest. So why does the quiet work, at least on the surface? Humans are wired to belong. Social exclusion triggers alarm circuits in our brain that overlap with physical pain. Being ignored isn't just emotionally unpleasant, it registers as harm. That biological sting turns into mental pressure, anxiety, self-doubt, frantic analysis. The person left in the silence starts searching for what they did wrong, replaying every line and gesture, desperate to fix the void. Yelling is loud and messy. Silence is a vacuum that pulls the other person in. Ambiguity is the secret weapon. Yelling tells you exactly what the emotion is: anger, frustration, urgency. Silence tells you nothing. And that nothing becomes terrifying because your mind hates holes. You fill the silence with scenarios. Maybe I'm hated. Maybe I did something unforgivable. Maybe this is the end. That uncertainty fuels rumination. People become consumed by trying to predict the silent person's next move. Prediction feels possible to solve. Uncertainty feels urgent to resolve. In that urgency, the silent one gains power. Power plays out in small, relentless ways. When someone refuses to respond, they control the timeline of repair. The person who wants contact has to bridge the gap. They become the pursuer. The person giving silence can stay calm, maintain distance, and let the other scramble. It's efficient in a manipulative way. Less energy, more outcome. Yelling burns energy and exposes vulnerability. Silence conserves energy while still shaping behavior. But the immediate reaction isn't the whole story. For the recipient, silence creates a chain reaction. It sparks a loop of self-questioning. What did I say? What did I do? How do I fix this? And that loop often leads to over-apologizing, over-explaining, or desperate attempts to regain connection. Those attempts can look needy or weak, which then justifies the silence for the giver. It's a cruel cycle. The more someone reaches out, the more they can be seen as the problem, and the more silent control appears effective. What does this do to the relationship? In the short run, the silent treatment may produce results: compliance, concession, or a quick thaw when the pursuer finally gives in. In the long run, it erodes trust. People remember how they were made to feel: small, anxious, unseen. Repeated exclusion trains both sides. One learns to weaponize withdrawal, and the other learns to anticipate abandonment. Intimacy requires safety, and a pattern of punitive silence chips away at that safety over time. There's also a psychological cost for the person doing the silence. At first, it can feel like a victory. You've made your point without a messy confrontation. But carrying unresolved resentment and refusing to speak drains you. The silent person becomes skilled at avoiding emotional labor, but they also avoid the messy work of repair, empathy, and vulnerability. Over time, that avoidance becomes distance. Love and warmth need conversation. Without it, closeness fades, replaced by a brittle, transactional dynamic. Withdraw, coax, repeat. Not every withdrawal is manipulation. Sometimes stepping back is wise. A timed pause to prevent harm, when tempers are high and words would wound, can be constructive. The difference is the return. A healthy pause has boundaries and a plan. I need 30 minutes to cool off. Let's talk after. The silent treatment leaves no map. It's open-ended, punitive, and often accompanied by avoidance of any real resolution. If you can name the pause, set the time, and commit to re-engage, you're protecting the relationship. If you vanish to punish, you're corroding it. So what's the alternative when you feel the urge to go silent or to yell? Start with small, clear moves. Say what you need without attacking. Use short, direct I statements. I felt hurt when X happened, instead of you always do Y. If you need space, give a timestamp. I need an hour to calm down. I'll come back and talk at 8. Those lines remove ambiguity and keep responsibility shared. If you're the one on the receiving end of silence, resist the urge to fix everything in one frantic sweep. Send a calm, boundary-setting message. I see you're quiet. I'm here to talk when you're ready, but I won't chase you. That turns a power play into an invitation to repair. When conversations go wrong, structure helps. Bring back the frame. What happened, how it made each person feel, what needs to change, and a specific next step. Keep sentences short. Don't try to solve everything at once. Ask for one change and offer one request. Those small, actionable items prevent spirals. Repair is less about grand apologies and more about consistent, predictable steps that rebuild safety. There's also a human trick that undermines silence without escalating into yelling. Distraction plus connection. If the silent person won't engage, invite them into low-stakes contact. Send a neutral, non-demanding message. I made coffee. Can I bring you one? Or suggest a shared, low-pressure activity. That reduces the perceived threat of re-engaging and lowers the stakes for both people, making a comeback conversation more likely and less loaded. People sometimes ask if using silence is ever justified. The blunt answer, maybe in the short term, for self-protection. If you're in a pattern of abuse or repeated boundary violations, a temporary cutoff can be a survival move. But keep the goal in mind, safety and eventual clarity, not punishment. If the silent period becomes a weapon or a default tactic, it's toxic. Use it as a shield when needed, not as a sword you swing to win arguments. Here's a hard truth. Silence often seems to win because we mistake reaction for resolution. When someone apologizes after being ignored, we call it closure. But did anything change? Apologies made under pressure can be shallow and temporary. Real change demands conversation, accountability, and follow-through. If your goal is to alter behavior for the long term, silence is a blunt instrument. It might bend someone's actions in the moment, but it rarely reshapes the underlying reasons. If you want to break the pattern, start by naming it. Notice how you respond when someone goes quiet. Do you spiral inward? Do you double down and shout? Pause and choose one small step, a calm check-in, a boundary, a time-limited space. If you're the one tempted to deploy silence, ask what you're trying to protect. If it's composure, name that. I'm stepping away so I don't say something I'll regret. If it's control, recognize that control corrodes trust. Replace silent withdrawal with a short, decisive statement that keeps the door open. Finally, think about what strength really looks like in conflict. Strength is not making someone shrink so you can stand taller. Strength is staying engaged when it's hard, using words that heal rather than blunt force, and choosing to repair even when pride wants to win. Silence can be powerful, but powerful without care becomes destructive. Choosing to speak clearly, to set boundaries directly, and to invite repair is the quieter kind of power that builds something lasting. So next time anger rises or the impulse to go silent hits, try this small experiment. Breathe, name the emotion out loud to yourself, then say one short sentence to the other person that either invites conversation or sets a clear break. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. You'll find that the urge to control through silence fades when you replace it with a direct but humane choice. If this made you rethink a breakup, argument, or pattern in your life, share one moment in the comments where silence either cut deep or gave space, and tell us what you might try next time. If you found this useful, hit subscribe for more on how to talk less like a weapon and more like a bridge.